May Lebanon remain a free and pluralistic country. Well, that's the hope the new Lebanese Patriarch of the Maronite Church, who is watching the current unrest in the region with concern. Patriarch Bchara expressed these concerns to Pope Benedict in his first audience since he was elected leader of the Maronite Church of Antioch in March. In his words to the new Patriarch, Pope Benedict reiterated the urgency of proposing the gospel to those who do not know it well or have moved away from the Church, and to help the local faithful to rediscover the enthusiasm of the first Christians. Well, formerly a director of the Arabic program for 12 years at Vatican Radio, Patriarch Rai spoke with me. I asked him if he fears the uprisings in the Middle East and North Africa might in some way spill over into Lebanon.
Noi siamo preoccupati perché ci saranno delle conseguenze sul Libano.
Speaking in Italian, Patriarch Rai said, "Of course we are worried. There could be consequences for Lebanon because we do not know where these protests are going. Lebanon is the place of freedom of expression and the place where all religions are represented. One does not assimilate another. And Lebanon is a place where there are differences of opinion and the political pluralism of parties. If these regimes of the Arab world," he said, "were to become tougher, it would be the Christians of those countries who would pay. Christians would be the first victims."
Questi paesi pagheranno e I cristiani saranno le prime vittime.
Pope John Paul II often spoke of Lebanon as a model of coexistence among Christians, Muslims, and Druze. The nation's constitution guarantees the political and civil rights of all of its 18 different confessions. The president is always a Christian, the prime minister a Sunni, and the speaker of the House a Shiite. Well, despite the turmoil in countries surrounding Lebanon, Patriarch Rai expressed his belief that its model of pluralism would not be at risk.
Io non penso perché I libanesi, tutti I libanesi, musulmani e cristiani, ci tengono a questa convivialità.
I don't think so because the Lebanese, all the Lebanese, he said, Muslims and Christians, attach great importance to this coexistence, all of them. However, if Christians continue to emigrate in ever greater numbers, Lebanon's political system will be conditioned by this, also demographically. In fact, if the demographics of Christians were to drop significantly, then even their representation will change. It will no longer be balanced, that is 50-50. Perhaps it will be 75 or 25, or perhaps it will tend to disappear. But we hope to be able to preserve our presence and maintain our numbers demographically as well. But in recent years, political divisions among Christians in Lebanon have risen dramatically, often exacerbated by bitter rhetoric. In an attempt to help heal animosities, Patriarch Rai has spoken with Christian political leaders and particularly with Maronite political leaders.
Sì, io ho già parlato con I leader.
If you ask them, do you all agree on the national principles, they all will say yes. To the question, is your objective to preserve the Christian presence in Lebanon so that this country represents a guarantee, they answer yes. If you ask them if diversification among Christians is consistent with political choices, again, they answer yes. Patriarch Rai said he was pleased that Christian political leaders have accepted his invitation to a Holy Week spiritual retreat at the Patriarchal Palace just north of Beirut to listen to the Word of God and to dialogue.
Ad un dialogo e dovrete essere complementari.
He says he's invited them to talk with each other, urging them to complement each other. Why be enemies, he asked. We are in a democratic country, and this means that we have to respect the opinions of the other. He urged them to avoid advocating their personal opinions as the best choices, thus continuing, as he said, to create animosity, as you are doing now. He explained that the political leaders will listen to 2 homilies and during the breaks will discuss the political options of each faction. The Maronite Patriarch is engaging Muslim leaders in Lebanon in a parallel dialogue. At the national level, he said, Muslims have asked for an Islamic Christian summit to be held at the seat of the Patriarchate, something the Muslims themselves requested. He said he expected that the meeting issue a joint declaration on the principles that unite the two faiths. Well, in this time of instability for Lebanon, the Patriarch called on the Universal Church, through the Holy See, to advocate on behalf of Lebanon's Christians. We will do our job internally, amongst ourselves, as the Church on the Catholic ecumenical level, in interreligious dialogue, and we will do our best to dialogue with local governments, he said.